Java's built-in hash function gives us an excellent way to get started with hashing, but sometimes we may want to customize how the objects or values that we have are hashed. So how do hash functions work? What are their limitations? And how can we write our own hash functions? A hash function has three defining properties. Firstly, it will always produce a hash code of a fixed size. This is important as it allows objects of various sizes to be reduced to values that can be easily compared side by side. Secondly, it must always produce the same hash code for two equal objects. If it doesn't, we can't successfully compare an object to itself, and similarly, the same object wouldn't hash to the same location in a hash set, which would defeat its purpose. Thirdly, however, two unequal objects can have the same hash codes. This third property is one of the major limitations of hash functions. In an ideal world, our hash function would produce a unique code for each item hashed. This is known as a perfect hash function, but unfortunately is very difficult to achieve in practice. Because most hash functions are not perfect hash functions, it is not uncommon in practice for two different objects to produce the same hash code. This is known as a collision. An example of this in Java is when we hash the strings AA and BB. We can see that they produce the same hash code, something which you can test yourself by calling the hashcode function like this. As you might have guessed, collisions can be a real problem for hash sets and hash maps, where two different objects hash to the same location. There are several methods for dealing with these, but thankfully, Java handles this for us automatically. If you are interested in learning about collision resolution, take a look at the resources below. So now that we understand hash functions, let's see how we can write and use our own hash functions in Java. In Java, the hashcode function that we saw earlier is used to hash an object. When we add or query an object in a hash set, the hashcode function for that object is called to produce the value needed to locate or place that object in the set. When we write our own objects, we can write our own version of the hashcode function. Remember our animal class from section 6? Here's an example hashcode function that uses the first letter of the species variable. Obviously, this isn't the best hash function and will certainly have collisions. So to ensure Java can resolve collisions, we also need to write an equals function, a function used to compare two objects to see if they are equivalent. In this case, our equals function will return true if the species of our two animals match, but how you define what makes two of your objects equal is up to you. Okay, hopefully you should have a better grasp of hash functions and the steps to making your own. See below for some additional notes, and when you're ready, the next page has some finer detail on writing your own hash functions.